Okay, so now we're into I didn't give you a video for the last one, as you probably noticed, because all you needed to do was stuff we've already done before, which is take that print screen. But now I actually want to give you a little more experience with Git, okay? Because the Git workflow that we learned here is pretty much what you'll use going forward, but it is just a little different. And I in review thought maybe I shouldn't have started with the git ignore, but that's okay because it's all good experience. So on this topic, here's what I want you to do. Okay. I want you to update the README file for both your private and your public repos. Complete the workflow. I'll do it with you for the public one. You'll do the private one on your own. And then you'll provide a link, and I'll show you how to do that in here to that README file. And then in your reply, discuss any issues you had, what you may have run into either before this or now, and then how it feels to complete command line work, right? I think one of the things I hear from students commonly is like, it's like that moment that you feel like you're the hacker that is doing, that we see classically on TV doing these commands. I know sometimes the first time I did that, it's kind of what it felt like. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here because I have all of my folders open. So let's just start. Like I said, I'm going to do it on the private, I'm on the public one. You do it on your own on the private one. So I'm going to start here. I do have the README file already set up. Remember, it's right here. By clicking here, I see all the files that are there. Remember, the git ignore is the only one you see local that you don't see on GitHub. Okay. So now on here, I'm going to open this up, and this is just the default content that was selected. And let's go look at that actually. Let's go look. Let's go to GitHub. Remember, at this point, you should only be modifying on Git on the local system, but we do use the interface here just to look at what's out there and to submit our work going forward. So if I open up the README file and just look at it here, I see, oh yeah, there's the content. This is being rendered as a markup file, right? So the markdown file that we see here is being rendered. So we know at this point that they match, okay? So let's add something to this repo, right? Instead of this here, I'm going to put CIT82, okay? And then here, I'll take it off here, right? Public repo. And then I want you to just add something about, right? Let's just do this. Let's say, let's do a second heading here that says files. And then just at this point, do some kind of content that's discussed which files, like this repo will be for print screens and other files to share with everyone in this class, or something else, whatever you want to do. Okay. So a couple things here. As soon as I do this, I notice now it's yellow over here. And I notice that there is this one one listed, and that's actually on version control. But remember, we use the command line. Now, right now, my terminal is open, but I notice I'm in the Git IO, and that's not the directory I want to be in. So what I've shown you before is you can right click and you can open an integrated terminal, and it will then move you into that. But you could also do that manually. And one of the next assignments you're going to do is to learn more command line. And matter of fact, I think that's next due date. But here's the other thing. Notice how these are starting to stack up because I have various ones open. You can also leave them open and move back and forth between them as well. Or you can just hit the garbage can and get rid of them, whichever way you want to do it. But now that I'm in my public, which by the way, let me show you something as well. If I went to CIT82, I can't open it from there. But let me show you this. If I back up a directory, CD period, that backs up the directory. Now, if I do ls, list folder. This is the command line equivalent to looking at this graphical interface or looking at the file explorer. But I like the command line, it just feels good. But in that folder, if I do git status now, it's going to give me an error. And that's because I'm not in a repo when I'm in the base folder, because the repos are in these folders right here. Okay, so if I wanted to, in the command line, move to Rio, and by the way, here's what I was showing you at one point. If I hit Rio and hit tab, it's going to do W, but because I have two of them, it doesn't know which one to pick. So if I do PU, oh, I have to do the whole thing. Sorry, PU, then it'll autocomplete. So this is not a great example, but learning how to use that autocomplete tab, really helpful. So now I can do git status. Wonderful. So here's what it's saying is now I do have a file that I've tracked before. I do have changes I've made to that file. That's why it's showing up here, right? It says there's changes that are not staged for commitment. So now, oh, what happened there? Reply and discussion. Oh, it must have grabbed, oh, it grabbed some content I already had. Okay, so git status. Git status shows me what I have. So git, now before I had you do git, and you actually had to do, because of the git ignore, you had to type that file, but now you can just do star. And what this will do is any files that are out there will automatically be staged, or you can still do the file name if you want. But as we work with more and more files in this class, doing that git star will be helpful, because then it'll say if I had modified, as an example, if I had not only modified that that README file, but I had done something else to the one of the other files, it would have, I believe, grabbed both of them to add them. So now I'll do git commit -m. Okay, then I'm going to say updating the readme.md file. Okay, so remember, these commands I've done now have then modified the changes, modified the files on my local system. I've committed them into the local repo, but I have not pushed them here. These is still the old version, because it's not until you do the git push does it push that change up to GitHub. Okay, so let's come over here. Now if I refresh, I can see that that is indeed new. And here's what you want to do. You want to copy this, right? Now I'm going to copy this URL, because this is how we're going to share it in GitHub. By the way, you're also going to do this for your private, but the reason we wouldn't share that one is, if you remember, the private is only between you and I. Okay, so in here, right, I'm going to hit here. I'm going to say my pub readme.md. And actually, I could just do it in all caps. That probably would be better. I'm going to roll this up. Remember, when you hit enter, typically it'll automatically create the link for you. But if for some reason it doesn't, you can go in here and actually edit the link or add the link. The only reason it's giving me edit is it already sees it. So you can do that as well. And then what I want you to do, as I said before, on the writing part of this, is discuss, right, any issues you ran into, and then how it feels to complete this work. So this would be the writing that you would do here. All right, hope this helps you out. Hope you had fun with it.